It's been about 20 minutes or so. Let's go ahead and check our loaf inside the cast iron pot and check our progress here. Make sure that hot mitt is on. Pull it out. And see what we have here. Wow, beautifully expansive loaf here. It did wonderfully at this point. Let's go ahead and finish it off with the lid off. Going back in the oven for about another 10 minutes or so, and from here on we'll just check the color. Almost ready and looking good. Okay, it's been about 35 minutes bake time. We're gonna take a look at our loaves and inspect them for their doneness. So first loaf we're gonna take out is a loaf that's been baking on the hearth. Nice pretty loaf there. So what I'm looking for here for doneness, the first inspection would just be a tap on the bottom here. If you can thump it on the bottom, it sounds like a drum. That means that the loaf has dried out, starches have set up, and that sound, that hollow sound, tells you the loaf is done. Another way to check to see if the loaf is done is just visually. How does a loaf look? What sort of color variations do we have? I love to look for these tans, rusts, and browns and blondes on the bread. That shows you a nice Maillard reaction, that caramelization there. It looks beautiful. So I'm very happy with this loaf. This loaf was pre-baked on the hearth. You know, this isn't exact science, so mostly you're just watching the loaf. I say 30, 35 minutes, maybe even 40, but nothing's exact. That's the fun part of it. So just watching as it bakes, inspecting from time to time. Let's take a look at our other loaf that's been in our cast iron. Ooh, nice healthy looking loaf as well. So let's check it out. Let's lift it out, be very careful with the hot pan there. Again, we have that nice hollow sound. We have that color variation we're looking for, the tans, rusts, blondes, and browns. Beautiful looking bread. Side by side, how do they look? Beautiful. I even like the one that's been baked in the cast iron pot a little bit better. It has even more of a lift on it, but spectacular. For home baking, you know, nice loaf. All right, there you have it. Loaves fresh from the oven. They're looking beautiful. One way to check to see if they're done after that 35-40 minute mark is to first give them a thump on the back. So like a drum, hit it on the back. If you can hear that sound, that hollow sound, that's a good sign that the loaf has dried out, the starches have set up, and feels good. Also, squeezing the bread. How does that crust sound? We got an awesome sound from that crispy crust. Also let us know it's formed completely. Another visual check is just to look at the loaf. What sort of colors are represented in that loaf? Here we have some tans, rusts, browns, some even blondes. I love that color variation on the